Good morning and welcome to Zen Fits. Beautiful Saturday morning here in Blackstone, the center of the world. But then you too are at the center of the world. So this morning I'm pumped up and ready to go because I'm getting a different or more, what I call a radical look at what forgiveness is. That's always a big problem. Even Jesus created the Zen cone of forgiveness when he said, hanging on the cross, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. How can you forgive somebody that hurts you? How can you forgive somebody who's killing you? What's he talking about? And the whole thing, Christian religion is built around, you should forgive. Forgive your enemies. Forgive your friends. So you forgive your neighbor. Even though you don't feel forgiveness, you should do it. You should try, you see. Can you try to forgive? You ever tried doing that? Can you try to make yourself forgive? Can you try to get rid of you? You see, because if you feel grievance, hurt, wounded, that's who you are. So if you say, well, try to forgive them, what you're trying to do there is getting rid of you and denying what you feel. So something's wrong here. So let's look at it a different way. Now, there was another post I put up, I got commented on yesterday that I need to go back to it. I use YouTubes, I love it. I use YouTubes as video metaphors. I just do that. So there was a YouTube of people caught on camera doing extraordinary savings. In other words, a man's walking along and his little kid's there, and out of the corner of the eye he sees a dog running to attack the kid, and he turns and throws something at the dog like that. In other words, all of these YouTube actions were situations where somebody acted spontaneously to save somebody else or themselves without thinking. So it's prior to thinking. I had that experience myself. Not too long ago, coming back on a winding country road at night, and another car was coming around the bend, and they just kept going right into me at night. You know, when you're driving along and suddenly there's a car that's supposed to go on your left, but he doesn't, he's coming right at you. There's no time to say, oh shit, somebody's coming at me. What should I do? Should I choose to go this way or that way? Miraculously, I drove as the car, look, I can look back on it. I steered the car so it was half in the dirt and half on the road. I was almost off the road, and the car went by me in my lane like a bull. I was a matador, and the bull went, death went, and then I got back on the road, and my wife, who was dozing off, what happened? It was that quick. It was like, you're going along, and this was very close too. It wasn't like down the road. I mean, it was like right there. It was like you're going here, and they're coming like they're supposed to come like that, and they went like that, and I went like. So in other words, I moved with them. The point is, I did not react to the car. I and the car were one. I and the other car were one, and I moved around it like that. When we watch these YouTubes of Indian traffic intersections, and it looks like a bunch of columns of ants going blah, 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 blah. Nobody's bumping into each other. Or you look at a flock of birds, and they're swooping to get out of the way of the hawk. Or a school of fish, and they're swooping to get out of the way of the tuna or whatever. They're not bumping into each other. They're all moving as one. So at that moment, when that car was coming into me, there was no time to think. But I moved as one with the car, like this. So we call it, in sports, we call it being in the zone. You watch we love basketball. particularly when it gets up to the professional mastership level, because they get in the zone. Suddenly they get in the zone. One team gets in the zone and they're just passing the ball like crazy, and the other team, they go boom, 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 basket, yay, boom, 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 basket, yay, boom, 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 basket, yay. How do they do that? They're not thinking, no, should I throw it here or there? Oh, there's somebody open there. No, they're in the zone. They're in relationship. They're in relationship. So when that car came at me, I was in relationship with the car, and I just moved around it like that. Now looking back, then the mind comes rushing in after you have an incident. We all have these incidences. I remember I was standing out, I have a little Buddha pond. There's a little upper and lower Buddha pond. And my foot was caught on a root, and I stepped back, and my foot didn't step back with me, and I fell back. And I turned like a cat when I fell back. I fell back and turned and landed like this, with my head just touching the rock. If I hadn't turned like a cat, you see, I would have hit my head falling in the pond and drowned. But I turned like a cat. Now, you do think when you're doing that? You go, oh, I should turn. No, you're in relationship. So YouTube's full of this. We love it. Cameras catch it. Usually, and they're always a surprise. You know, these moments of relationship when the body just does something extraordinary. We say, how did they do that, you see? They don't know how they did it. That's the point. How do you raise your arm? Can you tell somebody how to raise their arm? You just do it, you know? So we're in relationship all the time. Now, relationship is forgiveness. This is my point. When you're in relationship, you are one with the other or the whole. See, we're all in relationship. Even quantum physics discovered that when it said that the electron or the molecule or whatever the thing is, the quantum or the photon, is either a particle or a wave. Now the wave is relationship. The particle is a thing named in space. A particle is here. You can put it on the map. That's where the particle is. You can't put a wave on the map. You can't put relationship on the map. You see? A relationship's not a thing. But we're all in relationship. The Newtonian universe, that kind of like was the mythology or the paradigm of the West with the end of the Middle Ages, was like a universe of billiard balls. And they all operate cause and effect in laws. You can discover the laws and figure out where the billiard balls are going to go. But the world is made out of things, knocking against each other like bumper cars. This paradigm of the universe does not understand relationship, because we're all in relationship. We're not things alone in the universe, while we are, by the mind's definition, so we can catch a bus and buy an apple instead of a banana, you see. See, there's apples and bananas and all these things that we name. In Sanskrit or in yoga, it's called name and form. Relationship is beyond name and form. But we need name and form to catch a bus, you see, and make stuff. So it's not that we get rid of name and form, it's just that name and form does not include relationship, does not include forgiveness. So as long as we think in terms of name and form, forgiveness makes no sense at all. Forgiveness is insane because you're trying to make yourself spontaneously feel something you don't. And that's crazy. So you end up being a hypocrite. Oh, yes, I feel forgiveness, but the son of a bitch, I want it, you know. The feeling and the thought are separated. Oh, and there we are with the modern dilemma. Feeling and thought have been separated. We feel one thing and think another. I think I'm not a racist, but I want to move to the other side of the bus when the black guy gets on. You see, but I'm not a racist. I don't think I am. you see. So thinking and feeling have been separated because we don't understand relationship as being as valid as being a thing. So we got thing and we got relationship. We got a particle, we got a wave. Which is it? Well, it depends on, in quantum physics, whether something is a wave or a particle depends on the experiment you set up to determine whether it's a wave. If you set the experiment one way, it's a particle. Set it another way, it's a wave. Which is it? It's potential. It's potentially, everything's potentially a particle or a wave. But what makes it one or the other? Our consciousness, our mind decides whether something's a wave or a particle. See? So, let me check my time here. So anyway, we're looking at forgiveness now from the viewpoint of relationship. So in order for me to fall into a relationship, I have to surrender and give up my particle point of view. I have to give up thinking of myself as a separate thing and surrender to the fact, the truth, that I am also relationship at the same time. I am both separate and one with the other or the thing or the group at the same time. So you see, even in politics today, all roads seem to lead to Trump. A Trump rally is an example of relationship. From outside the Trump rally, you can't figure it out. What are all these individual people doing in there? But from relationship, it makes perfect sense. When you're in relationship with Trump, as a group, you're not seeing Trump as a separate individual with flaws, with pros and cons, good and bad actions. You're seeing him as you. I am Trump, Trump is me. That's relationship. The feeling and joy and the power of oneness. So you get in a tent with Trump and you feel powerful, oneness. How great are we? We, you see. They are against us. The more they're against us, the bigger we feel. Because we're in relationship, they're not. They're just a bunch of individuals, a bunch of liberal individuals wandering around, bumping into each other like bumper cars. But we are one, you see. It's two different ways of being. Both are valid. Not one or the other. You can't be a soup can by yourself in the universe. Andy Warhol, thank you. You see? The soup can is a soup can because it's in relationship with Campbell's or your dinner. If you give a soup can to an Aborigine, he would, what is it? Knock, knock. Anybody in there? You see? So we have to understand relationship as I am trying to discover it in my own life, because when I'm out of relationship, I suffer. When we're out of oneness with whatever we're doing, the other person, the group, the town, my house, whatever, there's pain when I'm out of relationship. So the pain lets me know that I'm out of relationship. So I question, what's going on here? You see? And then so that's Zen for me. The question, what's the truth here? So Zen, basically, the awakening, the Satori, is, aha, I'm in relationship now. Whereas before I wasn't, you see. So there has to be a shift, a realization that just being as a thing, which is the way our world sees us, our Western world sees us as a bunch of things, bumper cars, knocking around, trying to be the biggest one, trying to knock everybody else off. You see, we love that because it's a game, but we play it seriously in life. Going to knock that guy off. Knock him off, knock that guy off. I'll be one then. You see, I'm number one because I knocked him off. You see, so this belief in oneness, you see, when it's just from a viewpoint of a single object, trying to be the number one of all the individual objects, you see, is only half of the truth. The other half is relationship. That's being missed. you see. So when that's missed, we suffer. But then, of course, you can't just be relationship, because if you're just relationship, then you are in a Trump rally and you think Trump is God. So you need the objective viewpoint too. So you need the objective and the subjective. The objective is everything's a thing, and I can analyze it and see what's better, good, bad things. And then we got relationship, where I am that. I am my relation. I am the other, you see. I'm aware as that other person, or I'm aware of that other person. You see these two ways of awareness, two sides of the brain, left and right, you see. Aware of something, I'm aware of all these objects, you see. But if I worship this object, then I'm aware as this object. It's not just a thing. Among other objects, a Shiva and Ganesh and all of these other little objects and statues here, they're all separate things. But if I worship this, then I'm aware as this, you see. That's a totally different way of being with this object than looking at it from an objective point of view as well. That's a Christian thing, and this is a Catholic symbol, and this is a Protestant symbol, you see. And I can study this and get a PhD on that. But I will never know this as awareness as, you see. I will never know this as my Lord. It's relationship, you see. But then if I don't have the objective view at the same time, if I'm just aware of this as my Lord, well, then your God is an evil one. I'll have to kill you, because this is the only one. So without the objective, you see, I become a fanatic. You see, and if I'm just the objective, I become empty. I have no meaning. I have no relationship. Anyway, thanks for dropping in, and I hope I've expanded myself with this talk. So I get something out of it. I hope you do too. Thanks for dropping in.